My little galaxies. So sorry if the audio is bad. I do have a fan on because it was very hot in here. So hope you can ignore that. It's a bit away, so hopefully it won't show through. But I will be showing you my Fazbear Fright characters that I've made so far in Gacha Club. So here we go. First off, one of my favorites from the first book is Millie Fitzsimmons. She was in Into the Pit, and she was in the final story. I didn't get to read it that much, but I read it on the wiki, and it's a pretty good story. And I feel like she could be a bit of a relatable character. But I'll kind of explain what I had going through my head trying to make this. So I wanted all of them to have angel wings. Well, I haven't put in all the wings yet, but I will. But so that's why the wings are there. I'll do it like this. She is 14, which is stated in the story. Her birthday, I don't know when. And then her name is, of course, Millie. But I did all the scratches and stuff on the face because she chose decapitation as her way to die from Freddy. If you have not watched someone or heard someone read it or read it yourself, then there will be spoilers, obviously. But she chose decapitation, right? So I feel like it got more than just her head. I feel like because what I've seen people use is a really big thing of metal, and in comparison to how most people do it, she's really small in his stomach captivity thing. And so what I'm thinking is that if it's a really big piece of metal, it probably hit more than just her throat to cut her head off. And her head probably got roughed up in the meantime of that. So that's why she has all those scratches and stuff. And then she also has that stomach mark that's supposed to symbol bleeding. Something from that also hit her in the stomach, and then she has a tear on her knee. That's supposed to be a tear in her clothing. And she has on her jacket. I put her in a choker because I feel like she would wear that. And she has long hair because I imagine her to have long hair. And then I'd also imagine her to kind of have more sort of a different style. So maybe that thing right there, you can see it right there. I feel like that would be a loop or something on her jeans or something. So that's Millie. Here is Sarah. So if you haven't read the thing, then spoilers, of course. I'm going to say that every time, but I made her hair a bit blonde at the ends because she had hair blonde from my understanding, and then brown at the top because I feel like she was kind of morphing back a little bit to the point where Eleanor, can you get completely rid of her? Or something like that. And so or she was kind of in the cycle of turning back to her old self while in death. And then she has a bunch of these parts symbolizing robot parts. So you have the leg, you have the arm, you have all these little things. You have this, you have this, you have that on the face. You have that little mark that I did right there. Because I feel like her middle somehow would have gotten scratched up. And then she has like a pink dress on. And then heels. And then she she escaped or something is a thing. I feel like she escaped. I'm confusing my own self here. Give me a second. So I feel like she escaped, right? And so she tried to like hide herself with various things, but couldn't really. And then she ended up dying because she was already damaged as it was, and her doing stuff like going through alleyways, making sure no one can see her, doing stuff like that, eventually led to her death. Wow, like, I feel like she was still part human, so she probably like starved to death and stuff like that. Then next we have Kimberly from Fetch. I forgot to say what Sarah was from. Sarah's from the first book. She's in the second story, To Be Beautiful. Then Kimberly is from the second book, Fetch, and from the first story, Fetch. And I don't know precisely about her death. I know, like, I did like the blood at the top of her sweater because I saw someone make her for like the first time, and like she couldn't speak because her throat got ripped out. And I feel like Fetch probably did a number on her, so she has like scratch marks. She's like got her head cracked open a bit at the top, and then she had her leg like ripped almost off. And then once, by the time Fetch had brought her to Greg, I forgot his name for a second, it had completely come off. And that's kind of how I envision that. Then Alec. He kind of looks like Lonely Freddy still. He's from the second book in the second story, Lonely Freddy. And so I feel like I added in the features, but kind of made him himself a bit. And then the things in the back are supposed to symbol like a garbage truck. Like I think sometimes garbage trucks had those things where they like hit a switch and like all the trash like gets eaten up and like the things like destroy it. And that's what that's supposed to be. Then Delilah. Delilah is from the third book, which I actually have. I have the book. It's over there in my little book collection I have. It's 3:25 a.m. Give me a second. I'll go see. Okay, correction. I got it mixed up. It's 1:35 a.m. And it's the first story in that book. And as you know, like, Delilah either like starved to death, got hypothermia, something like that. And so I put like bags under her eyes and made her really thin, because this is not good, don't do it. But sometimes when people starve themselves, or like something like I think war, during that time people were taken as prisoner and barely fed to the point where they were malnourished, and they were like really thin. You can see like their ribs. So I feel like she definitely probably lost weight from that, to the point where she starved to death and her body couldn't handle being that weak. I also feel like she would have probably got hypothermia, because vents, I feel like, would be cold. And yeah, and she kind of looks a bit dead inside. because I feel like that's what she was really feeling before that. Then here is Stanley. He is from the same book, 1:35 a.m. He's in the second story, which is Room for One More. And when he was filled with like all the mini Renas like going down his throat, I think he exploded. So that's why like he's all bloodied up around that area. His jeans are ripped. Like that's ripped open. That's ripped open. Probably got on his face if his face was even still intact. And then he was like a night guard, so he has on that hat and stuff. And so you can see, and that's why I did it like he had a tie. It like kind of like blew up to make it open. Then he like had his shirt buttoned. It got ripped open as well when he exploded. And there's a bunch of blood because of all his organs and stuff. Then you can see his jeans. They have oh frick. They have like blood around them as well as rips. Then I haven't even started on Devin, but this will be Devin. So I'm gonna quickly do this. Age, I'm going to say he's like 15. But yeah. These are all my characters so far. Here's also my new little OC. If you haven't seen it, I don't know if I've used her yet. Put her as 19. I'm not 19 though, so yeah. But anyways, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and stay safe. Bye bye.